Welcome, everybody. Cadell Sports Network. It is a beautiful day to be an Eagles fan or a Chiefs hater. Eagles demolish the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. Now, the score itself doesn't tell the entire story because the Eagles led 40-6 when everything mattered. A dominant defensive performance. Cooper DeJean with a pick six. Zach Bond with an interception. Let's take a look at this down here. So this is FoxSports.com. Fox hosted the Super Bowl as the commentary team. 6 sacks on Pat Mahomes. Last Super Bowl I remember with such a dominant defensive performance was the Seahawks over the Peyton Manning-led Broncos back in, I believe it was Super Bowl 48. At the end of the day, the stats on the Chiefs end don't look that bad. Well, the passing stats. The rushing stats, however, Pat Mahomes was the leading rusher for the Chiefs with 25 yards. Nobody else had more than 10. 9 was the next highest. This was satisfying from beginning to end. There was a bit of a moment there where they called an offensive pass interference on A.J. Brown earlier in the game. And I just remember thinking, oh no, here we go. The yards per play for the Chiefs is skewed. The passing yards for the Chiefs is skewed. Mahomes literally threw a 50 or 60 yard pass to Worthy against the Eagles' second team. Kenny Pickett got a couple snaps. And in our predictions, I told you guys it wasn't going to be that close, but I didn't know it was going to be this much of a blowout. My prediction was 34-24, and we got, for all intents and purposes, 40-6. But a lot of garbage time action. Chiefs had 0 offensive plays in Eagles territory in the first half. And I wonder at which point, you know how if you're in a boxing match and your boy is just you're in the corner, your boy's getting dominated, he's just got he's putting up no fight. At what point do you peel the Eagles off the Chiefs and call it a match? This was absolutely incredible. Jalen Hurts took the MVP. I thought it should either have been Milton Williams or Josh Sweat, because that Eagles front four was... I was hyping up the Eagles offensive line all week, all month, all year, but it was the Eagles defensive line that was the story of this game. The Eagles didn't have to send any extra pressure other than the front four, and they dominated. Reminiscent defensively of what the Giants did to the Patriots. I believe it was in 2007 with Osi Umenyiora, Michael Strahan, all those guys. And for the Eagles, this was the only way they could win the Super Bowl. Not this badly, but you can't leave it within one score because you know what's going to happen. So they got out, I believe 34-0 was 34-0 into the third quarter. Chiefs finally get on the board with a touchdown. Eagles answer with 2 field goals. Jake Elliott, by the way, he hit 4 field goals, but there were 3 penalties during kicks, so technically, well, not technically, but visually, he was 7 for 7 from field goal. There were 3 different penalties that pushed him back, and he still, they snapped it, he kicked it, it was a false start. A couple times on the center, oddly enough, the long snapper. The biggest surprise to me, other than the score, is Saquon Barkley being held in check. The boys and I are going to talk about it on Wednesday, but I watched the game last night. I watched it live, even though I swore up and down I would not watch another Chiefs game. But realistically, as a fan of a team, how often do you get a chance to watch your team in the Super Bowl? Now, I've been lucky over the past. The Eagles have been to 5 now, 4 during my lifetime. They're 2-2 in those Super Bowls. You can't really ask for much more because the things that the Patriots did with Brady and that you don't really get that kind of luxury as a fan. Now, if you think I'm also a Yankees fan, I know Eagles, Yankees, whatever. But the Yankees were in, what was it? They were in 96, 98, 99, 2000, 01, 03, 09, and then not again until this past year. So, I mean, you're just lucky as a fan to get to, even if your team loses, you're just lucky as a fan to see him get to these moments because it may never happen again in my lifetime, You think about the Bills and the Lions and teams like that. You always hope for them to get this kind of thing. But today's Super Bowl 59, and I'm giddy. I went to sleep for a little bit after the game. It's 4:30 a.m. I just wanted to sleep on it a little bit, and really I was hoping that I wasn't dreaming, because this was the best case scenario. They only showed Taylor Swift on the Jumbotron during the game once. They showed her during the pre-show and she was booed. Her face was, "What the F is going on?" That's what she literally said. But it was so much fun. Kelsey was miserable. The only guy who had a statistically great game was Worthy. And that had a lot to do with garbage time. It was all after the Eagles were just playing back. That's when the Chiefs got all their stats in. I wish I could see the I should have written it down, but I wish I could see the Chiefs stats through 3 quarters, like the offensive stats, because it was brutal, and brutal in the best possible way. Hurts was decent, 17 of 22, decent from the pocket. He had a lot of time to throw, made some good throws, but where he really hurt the Chiefs was scrambling out of the pocket. 11 attempts for 72 yards and a touchdown. And I think that is what pushed him over the top for the Super Bowl MVP, because just these passing stats alone, they're good and they were enough. But with Barkley only he had 25 carries for 57 yards, which was another good sign. Even though the running game wasn't working and the Chiefs did a fantastic job, they still stuck with it. 25 carries, even though he's got only 2.3 per carry. And it was a lot less than that because he broke a couple medium-sized runs later on, but the Chiefs did a fantastic job of containing him, and they still get blown out. So I don't know. I think I'm going to talk about this with them on Wednesday when we do the live stream. But the Chiefs spent all year playing, with the exception of the Bills, Bengals, and Ravens. They just played these teams that they're just coasting by, and they're winning fluke games. Like you picture the Raiders game with the botched snap and the blocked field goal against the Broncos, and they're winning these games against teams they should be hammering. And then they finally play I think it was week 2 to like week 11. They played basically nobody. No disrespect, but in terms of caliber. And then they get to the Eagles finally and just get absolutely smacked around. And they should have stopped the fight in the third quarter, but I enjoyed every single second of this. I can get someone to pick up a shift for me. I'm going down to that parade on Friday. That's pretty much what I'm going to talk about for now, because we got a lot to talk about on Wednesday. We're going to go through it, but defensive line for the Eagles was amazing. The offensive line was great in the passing game, and for the Chiefs, credit to them, honestly. And I am going to credit Pat Mahomes on this. When the Eagles beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, Brady didn't shake Foles' hand. For whatever reason, he says he doesn't dislike Nick Foles. Whatever reason, he didn't shake his hand. At least Mahomes went out to the middle and gave up some props to the Eagles. Absolute dominance, absolute pure joy for, what was it, like a 4-hour game with the 30-minute halftime. I guess Derek's probably our specialist on Kendrick Lamar, but it's a little, I'm a little out of the loop, so I didn't really get it, but we'll talk about that on Wednesday as well. As always, thank you for joining me. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know who you're rooting for and why it was the Eagles. All right, we'll see you guys Wednesday for the weekly live stream. Go Birds.